All right, hello viewers. We're back for a short episode of biohacking and bodybuilding. Sometimes it's bodybuilding and biohacking because Nick is on the left and I'm on the right. But really it should be biohacking and bodybuilding first. Our show is back for a brief moment because we have a little interesting update. Now, as you guys know, Nick has his segment Bodybuilding and Bullshit, which, by the way, everyone should know is his original title. He didn't copy that from anyone.
Yeah, no.
It goes on at night every day, and we have a couple more episodes for you guys in the next 2 days. But I wanted to ask Nick to come on. We just did a podcast, and I wanted Nick to talk to me a little bit about some interesting thing that happened yesterday, which I actually got some guy commenting on my Instagram saying, I'm unfollowing you because of this. So I just wanted to explain, like, it's really interesting. So basically, Nick, so last episode we talked about, we're just updating on the Olympia news. And we missed only one part of the story, which was we were telling the story of Shanique Grant, how she retired after not getting the not winning. And we know she apparently did tell many people, and we've heard this from multiple reports, that she was going to retire either way, no matter what, a few months before.
Yes.
That's the only change in the information that we know. Now, what happened was, honestly, I watched the videos, Nick. The one video that you did about her, and I watched the video. I rewatched the part that we talked about in our podcast, and to me, it was really. I mean, it's normal. We look in bodybuilding. You report the news. You report what's happening. Analyze things.
And people want to know that stuff anyway. So
yes, that's what people want to know. And not only that, but like for younger bodybuilders to learn lessons from, or I mean, she's
a lot of valuable lessons. Yeah.
When someone's retiring, you want to analyze it. That's what Dave would do. That's what anybody would do.
And it's out of left. Well, we thought it was out of left field because
we thought it was out of left field. So we were like, why is she retiring suddenly? Is it because she lost and she couldn't handle it or whatever?
Right.
And wait a minute. Let's add one more thing. There are three people who reviewed this that I know of. It's you and me, and Dave Palumbo with Lee Priest, I think, or by themselves, and also Ian Valliere.
I think Nick Strength and Power did something, and Desktop too.
Oh, Desktop as well. So there's a lot of people reviewed it, and actually, it's interesting. Ian actually had the harshest criticism.
Yes.
Ours wasn't very harsh. Dave's wasn't very harsh or anything like that.
And honestly, you as a professional athlete in any sport, you have to be able to handle criticism. And if you're not able to handle someone's opinion about you, then you shouldn't put yourself out there as a professional athlete or as a public figure. You should not. You have to be able to accept that people are going to have different opinions and not all going to like you or not always going to agree with your decisions. And I had to deal with it the same thing. Everyone does that, puts themselves out there in the spotlight. And that's just part of the game. That you think Michael Jordan got affected by what reporters said about him? No, like, and it's not to that level, but it's literally relatable. It's the same thing. And just because I don't agree with what she did or have an opinion about how her work ethic is or whatever is not a personal insult. It has nothing to do with them personally.
You were way more flattering than that. You weren't even that harsh. You weren't.
No. I listen. I listen, and there's evidence of things that I don't even want to go there, but there's things that
should go there. But let's just preface it by telling the audience why we're discussing this. So basically, this is what happened. We had these videos. By the way, someone commented on the video you made on her, like, oh, it's again. No, it's an interesting subject. So, and it was very kind, your own video on her. Yeah. And basically what happened was, tell the audience what happened to you. So Dave, first of all, Dave has already talked about this. Lee Priest was on my show last night. He was asking if it happened to us too. So Dave and Lee or whatever, whoever at RX, they got threatened to be sued by Shanique just for discussing the subject. And what happened to you?
So, well, first off, she messaged me and she was unhappy with the way I spoke about her. She goes, I thought we were friends, so forth and so on, quote unquote. And I said, Shanique, listen, I'm a professional critic in bodybuilding. I talk about everyone's business, not business, but their careers. I speak on it. I give an opinion. I talk about it. It was just constructive criticism. I didn't say anything negative about you. It was not a personal attack. And you should understand that this is separate. This is not personal. And there was nothing I said that wasn't true. So I said I would say it to your face. And this conversation I would have this with you in person. It's just that obviously you're having a hard time accepting that it's public and it's something maybe you're not uncomfortable with and so forth and so on. I sent you the messages. You saw them. Yeah, and I was very polite with.
Yeah, I want to say you were not just polite. You were kind.
Yeah. Yeah. And I said, listen, maybe you're unhappy right now because your emotions are a little higher than normal because of hormones and you're after show and a lot of things are happening. But I know if you look back at this in 6 months, you're probably going to think different about it. So I said, I'm here as a friend whenever you want to be a friend again. And it's good. I said, I wish you nothing but the best and good luck. And that was it.
The way I read it was almost like brotherly advice, honestly.
Yeah. And I've known her since she was before even this. So it's weird to even be in this. Literally since she was like 7-8 years ago, probably at least. Yeah. She was 18 years old when I met her. And, and she's still a child. She's only 25 years old. So like, she still has a lot. Me at 25, forget about it. I was running around like a lunatic. So I don't expect, and at this point in my life, I know where I am at mentally and physically and so forth and so on. So I know where she's at mentally at 25, because you could see things much differently now. And I know she's just upset. Like she's reacting without thinking. People are in her ear. Like, did you see that? And then it just builds in her. It might even be real, to be honest with you.
Let's take a step back and then like, why would you want to retire? Because it happened. Many people she said she was going to retire 6 months. Well, to do that, we have to really analyze her whole past. Right. So let's get into that a little bit, like just to understand her.
So her track
criticizing. This is just the truth.
This is facts. She's been through 5 sponsors, supplement sponsors.
And how many?
Fockery Nutrition, Blackstone, Project AD, Redcon, repeated issues with the same thing with the same companies, just so forth and so on. Same thing happens over and over. Same thing. Now we just found out Redcon released her the day after Christmas. She's in contract to the 20th. So she'll be posting to the 20th, but she's gone after that. So that's another issue with another sponsor.
Now I heard that is because she wasn't fulfilling her obligations.
Yeah, she wasn't doing anything she was supposed to do. So not doing videos, not doing content, not showing up to things, so forth and so on. She's been through 3 or 4 tanning companies, 3 or 4 food companies sponsoring her. I think 3 or 4 that I know of. And then there's a bunch of other ones, like she had like food, clothing companies, and it's literally, I know 95% of these owners of the companies, and I'm not saying it came from them, but it's all the same story, the same narrative of what was going on, not fulfilling her end of the contract, being, acting like, she doesn't have to do it, so forth and so on. I don't want to get into too much of the detail. It's not anyone's business anyway, but the track record speaks for itself, and
so basically every business relationship she had ended very quickly and very quickly.
Because this all happened in 6 years, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's something interesting going on. I mean, I wonder if it's like is it something to do with the hormones maybe affecting the stability of the brain, or just the personality issue? When I was, just to be honest, when I was 25, I was a mess.
Yeah, me too.
23 to 25 was my worst years of my life.
Yes, me too.
You too, huh? Some people have like good mid-20s. I didn't.
I was very good. I was very good from 16 to like 21, 22.
22.
I was a saint. I didn't even do a drug. I didn't drink. I was religious to bodybuilding. And then I got my taste of it and it was over. It was done. And then until almost 30 years old, I was wrecking everything, But yeah, once I got a taste of it, it was over.
But we're not saying
she's not into partying though or anything. She's not. She's very low key, but to not get too personal, there's been a lot of issues that have gone on in her personal life that can really reflect why she acts like this, and maybe her upbringing, because I know where she grew up. She grew up in Jersey. I know the town she lived in, so forth and so on. I know the people that are surrounding her. It wasn't a positive atmosphere. So maybe that's still like embedded in her, and she hasn't learned to accept that she is an amazing athlete. She does have all the genetics in the world, and that she's having a hard time realizing how great she is, because that's a lot to take on in 5-6 years, especially at that age, to accept that you have this gift that you should take advantage of and ride it out. It's not even about like when she did that little video, that segment real quick about why she retired and the things that she brought up. when you have that gift, those things are not even on the, like, you shouldn't be thinking about them. Like my forearm hurts, my eye, like you just blast through those things because you have this gift and you're taking advantage of it at the time, you know?
It might be because so it might be because she doesn't love what she's doing, right? So,
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. I think, you know, it comes too easy as well.
like you and I mean, that's where we were talking about it from in the podcast. We were talking from our own experiences. In your case, you rose so quickly.
Yeah.
And you got to a point and you realized this is not giving me happiness. I won, you talked about winning it on
Yeah.
podcast is not, it just came out actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it just came out with Dolce, where you didn't feel happiness. You forgot about it the second you're on stage.
Yeah.
And for me, in my
zero fulfillment. Zero.
Yeah, in my case, like I never accomplished something like famous like yours, but in my case, to be honest, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I joined basically, I got the highest paying job possible when I was 22 in my country. Well, one of the highest paying jobs in the world.
Right.
I was, for example, when I entered the company, I had scored the highest in their abstract. They have like a mental tests, like abstract reasoning and all that. It's an IQ test. I had the highest score in the history of the company. So I was immediately put on a fast track. Like, I don't want to get into too much details, but I was supposed to be, right now I would be in a position that's like a very, very high position. But once I got there and I was, it didn't give me, and a couple of years went by, I was poor. I was really poor.
Right.
I don't realize this. I was really poor in college. I worked jobs. I took the bus and all that kind of stuff. And when I finally got there, I had so much money. For 6 months, I saved all the money. And then I realized this money, I hate my life. So I started spending the money, like on my entourage, on my friends, stuff like that, trying to be happy.
Yeah, same thing. I was giving everyone money too. Same fucking thing.
Yeah, mine was the entourage. Like,
didn't save $1. Yeah, I had an entourage too, man. God,
very similar. Me and Nick. Many people don't realize like we love our friends a lot. So we don't love our.
I would get yelled at by all my girlfriends. Like, why are you spending your money on your friends? Why are you doing this? Why is your friend living here for free? Why? I'm like, shut up. Like, leave me alone. I'm happy. Like, and I wasn't.
Girls would always tell me, why are you paying for everybody? And like, every time I would go out, I would pay for every single person.
I'm like, I got it, guys. I would get so excited. I got it.
No, literally, it was at a point where nobody even offered to pay anymore. I millionaires, and I would pay for 20 people every single time. Or not even at clubs. I'm talking about bars. We would sit at a bar for 13 hours. I would pay for I wouldn't even think about it.
I know, me either.
Anyway, this is going too far. But the point is, we got off track. But the point is, this is where we were speaking from, just our own experiences.
That's what it is.
If it's not fulfilling to you and it comes easy, you don't like it. So sometimes you give it up. But Nick was also talking as a bodybuilding analyst saying, hey, this is the most talented woman in the history of this division.
Yeah.
So like, and we were speculating because we didn't know that she was planning to retire. So we were speculating maybe because she lost, she got upset.
Right. Yep.
And it was a weird loss because she was, she has a way more beautiful body than the person.
Yes, it was controversial, the loss. So it wasn't like she didn't show up and didn't look good. So,
exactly.
And plus, she's also been another thing too. She's been through a lot of coaches recent. Like she was with my friend Johnny, who's literally, give him credit. He's built her from ground zero. He's made her a 2-time Olympia champ. He turned her pro. He knows her body inside and out. And she left him. The man that literally knew her body inside out and got her to win twice already. Like, why do you walk away from something that's working either? So that's another weird.
Did you switch coaches from Johnny to one other coach, then to Meadows? Or
yes.
Oh, yeah. Also, so it was wow.
It might have even been 2.
Wow. Okay, so there's some.
I know there's one, but she removed all the pictures off her Instagram, so I can't find the other guy. But they were just like people, Okay.
So let's get to the funny. There's a funny part of this. So how it involves me. So yesterday, what did she respond? Go to get to the end of the response.
So
wait, for the audience to know, yesterday I was on the Delray Misfits, not another.
And you didn't know this happened.
I didn't know anything that was.
And I wasn't even going to tell you because it was so stupid.
Yeah, Lee Priest asked me. He said, "Did you guys get sued yet by Shanique?" And I was like, "Or get threatened to be sued?" And I was like, "No, I didn't hear about that." And then later, I mentioned to Nick.
Out of nowhere, I just said it to you, though.
Yeah.
I was like, listen. I was like, by the way, and I was like, listen to the. Yeah, I was like, by the way, it was like late at night. I was about to go to bed. I'm like, Shanique sued me. And you're like, what? You're like, no way. You're like, Dave got sued too. So days went by. She never responded to anything. And then she goes, good luck with a period. I'm suing you, period. And I saw the message. I was literally on my Instagram chat and I saw it coming in. So I never opened it. And I was like, you know what? Delete. And then she blocked me. So I couldn't even go back and read it anyway. So it was gone. That was it.
So the funny thing is when Nick tells me this, I go and I messaged Lee Priest. I was like, Lee, we're getting it too. And then he's like, oh yeah, she's, well, you know how Lee talks. So I'm not going to talk about it. But anyway, so I go to the, I literally, I was trying to do good because I looked for I didn't know what her, I searched Shanique Grant. There's nobody popped up. So I tell Lucie, my wife, I said, can you search for this name, Shanique Grant? She said, how do you spell Shanique? I said, I don't know. So I go to figure out how to spell Shanique. She said, no, I found it. And it's some like, what's her name? It's like Miss Beautiful, some, I don't know.
Oh,
whatever, it's some name.
Yeah, it's
so I searched the name and there's 0 results. And then I recall this time that Fuad's wife blocked me. And I'm like, why are women blocking me? Do they think that I'm like some predator that's coming? I'm married, by the way. I'm not interested in any. I'm very loyal to my wife. I'm not trying to talk to you guys. I swear. And I would never do that. I would
no.
Some guy. I would never talk to his girl.
Hell no. No
way. So I was like offended when Fuad's wife blocked me. And that's why I started on Fuad again. By the way, Fuad's not blocked me. Like he's
that's
on
so weird.
I
wonder if they had that conversation.
Yeah, it's so funny. So anyway, the point is I tried to message her and she's not there. I'm like, I was going to message her and say, hey, we didn't mean anything bad. Nick is like, really?
So strange.
Yeah. So I couldn't find her. Then I was like, I'm blocked. So when I was blocked, I got annoyed. So I posted the block thing, can't find it. And then a friend, I'm not going to say who, but a famous guy went on Shanique's page and found this funny picture of her posing in the gym,
yeah.
In the gym bathroom. Yeah, so I just made a funny post because I'm annoyed I'm blocked. So I made a funny post saying, hey, look at it, she has nice delts. But in reality, the pictures, obviously, which is interesting because she's actually trying to get pregnant. She's actually using a protocol and everything. She's trying to get pregnant. Right. It was just a funny picture. I was saying she's a classy lady. She preemptively blocked.
Do you think she's just trying to chase something that's gonna hopefully give her happiness, and that's having a kid, which most people do that the wrong way?
Yeah, by the way, that's a good point to bring up. A life lesson. I know a lot of people, especially when
so many of my friends thought that was going to change their lives.
Yes, they go have a kid to change their life, to force themselves to change. Yep. Sometimes like they have bad behaviors.
Not saying that's happened. I'm not saying that's happening.
We're not saying that at all. But
it's weird to go from balls deep into this sport and be like, I want a kid. That doesn't happen.
Immediately, you need a
usually you have a kid by accident in this sport and you're like, fuck, I have a kid and my career's over. Yeah. That's usually what happens. Like Victor Martinez has 7 kids like that. All happened during his prep. Not expected. You know what I mean? So like, it's usually not something that you're like planning during your peak of your bodybuilding fitness career.
No, but there's a life lesson also for a younger audience because I've noticed this with my friends. Like a lot of my friends had either they wanted to change, so either they thought that they'll find happiness having kids, and that's the worst way to have kids. By the way, never do that. And then I know a lot of people that got sober and had a kid to try to force themselves to stay sober. Freaking worst thing you can do because those guys never stay sober, and now they have a kid and
now they're stressed. Yeah.
So just
it's so true. It's so true.
Nothing to do with Shanique, just for our audience to know. Never have a kid to find happiness with it. You know what I mean? You have to be ready for that completely, and it's later. But anyway, so the point is there. But we just wanted to tell the audience, like, to explain to my viewers. So one guy's like, "Hey, you made fun of Shanique's silicone breasts, so I'm unfollowing you." I didn't make fun of her breasts. I said she has nice delts. It's her issue that she has the thing. I didn't talk about that.
People, the way they perceive things is so weird.
It's so weird.
It's so weird.
I wanted to respond like, do I know you? I don't know.
Social media told me so much about people's character without even meeting them. Like, but the world itself, in general, it's weird.
What people really think.
Yes, yeah, because because now they're like behind a screen. They don't know who you are. They don't know who you are, or whatever, vice versa. So they can say what they really feel, like what they're thinking. And you're like, wow, that's what people think about when they see that. Like, I don't even see it like that. You're like, I don't see that.
I was like, it was clear in my stories, like, hey, I'm blocked. And then a funny picture of her. Yeah. Guys, you have to understand. I saw it. It's not I'm not trying to look for attention. I find this fun, like genuinely. I just find it
hilarious.
Funny. Yeah. I always, and I should clear up another thing also. I posted a picture of a bodybuilder who will remain nameless. And I put it's the reason why I posted is because a subscriber sent it to me and he was asking me, what is this? I'm not going to say which bodybuilder it is because it's not about him. It was a lipoma, a fat deposit on the side of his leg.
I used to get them a lot
from growth hormone. When you take a lot of growth hormone over time, you start to get little.
I have one right here. I got to get cut out.
Yeah. So that's all it was. I was just trying to teach the audience. And that's why I said, what is this? Because I wanted the audience to learn. Nobody talks about that from growth hormone. Has anyone ever talked about that?
I have, but I don't know if people. I didn't medically talk about it. I just talked about how it's a side effect I've noticed over the years. I had one cut out here. I had one cut out over here. I have them all over the place.
So there we go.
I had like 10, probably 9 cut out. I got 2 more, and I got 2 more to get cut out. What?
Yeah. Usually people will get them in their abdomen a lot when you can see.
I never had them here. I had where that guy had one. I had one. I had on my calves. My ankles, like by my calves, my ankles, and right here too. I had a couple.
Wow. So it just
my lower back too as well. My lower back.
There's a lot of them, by the way. I
told you they're all over the place. I did a lot of growth hormone though. That's the thing.
I know you did. The last
15 years of growth hormone will do that to you. So
just for the audience to know, it wasn't someone sent me a message like, why would you even say this about to put him down? Obviously.
Oh God. You literally can't say any. I commented on a photo on Buys and Tries Instagram. Like the guy compared Chris Bumstead to an 11th place guy.
Oh, wait, I want to talk about that. I just saw Nick Strength and Power's video about it. Listen. Before you say anything, listen to this. Lucie's becoming an expert. Lucie, my wife, is like a bodybuilding criticizer now because she has to sit next to me when I watch.
Yeah, she hears it all day.
So no, not all day, but I always watch them for you, so I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Last night I put on the Nick Strength and Power. He didn't put a few videos for a few days. So
I know, I saw that.
He put a video of Chris Bumstead and then this German guy, I don't know what his name is.
Wesley Vissers.
Standing next to each other, and he's like, by the way, I'm not making fun of Nick Strength and Power, who I really respect, but he was saying like, he can't tell if what the judges want, whether the judges like his structure for classic physique. And Lucie interrupted in the middle of it. She's like, what are you comparing? This guy clearly looks better than the other guy. What are you talking about? The waist is smaller. Everything's wider. I was like, Lucie, you're really good at this now.
Yeah. And the guy on Instagram did the same thing. And I'm like, dude, is this a joke? I said something subliminal. Like, I'm like, are we really doing this? That's what I said. I'm like, and someone's like, why do you have to be so mean? That affects them negatively mentally. And you should know firsthand. I said, whoa, bro. You're missing the whole fucking
hurt people. Yeah.
And first I didn't post it. So I didn't insult the person. I'm like, I would never compare first to 11th. First of all, like what does that compare? You're just insulting the 11th guy. First of all,
make him
you make him look bad. Like
this is ridiculous. I don't know.
So, and then number 2, I said, is it really like an argument? Like what we're looking at? Like it's a clear distinction that Chris is obviously the superior bodybuilder. And that's no insult to Wesley. It's obviously a genetic and structure thing. That's the issue here. It's not conditioning. It's not how big he is. Everyone's like, oh, he would dwarf you. I'm like, that has nothing to do with it. You guys are like, and honestly, if you're getting up on a bodybuilding stage, let me just say this. What?
He wouldn't dwarf you.
No, I weigh more of them doing nothing, not eating for days.
Yes. No, actually, okay, look, because Nick can't say this. I have nothing to do with bodybuilding, but I know a lot about steroids and how people react to them. Let me be clear. These guys all use everything that they can use. That's how big.
Classic physique is not any less than bodybuilding.
No. That's how big they can get. They just get bigger. It's not what people think. Like, if he added more to his legs don't grow. He wants his legs to grow. They don't grow.
That's the number one mistake that all bodybuilders make. They all think, it's just this. It's just, no.
Well, they don't use insulin. They don't use the growth hormone. No. These guys can't grow bigger. Otherwise, they would move over to the ones. They would
gladly be the biggest on stage if they could.
If they could, like Keon, for example, he's growing. He's moving.
Yeah, he's not even trying.
George Peterson, moving. They're moving across classes because they grow. But the guys that can't, no, Chris Bumstead is different. He's a gifted athlete. But
Logan Franklin, same fucking thing. Can't grow.
There's no way that guy's legs.
He's been took 2 years off, and he's the same size.
Yeah, but now, okay. So we're not too critical. This is just the reality.
Yeah, but this is bodybuilding. You can talk about it's not insulting because you talk about someone's leg size. Like, what the fuck?
Look, the fact that he was watery on stage and the pre-pictures he was less watery doesn't matter. So, but one thing I want to ask you about, before I finish that, doesn't matter. Look at his legs; they can't grow. Look at, his arms and chest are okay, but like His hips are just way
wide. And rib box is different. Everything's
different. He has a very straight down frame, but it's just not impressive.
Torso doesn't look as good. Everything.
So actually, Lucie, though, she did ask one thing, which I had an answer to, but I don't know if it's right. You're the expert. So Lucie's like, wait a minute. Why is the guy on the left, which was Chris, wearing like a V-shaped thong? And
because they're idiots. They all don't have. Well, first of all, the IFBB is retarded. They don't have
a standardized. They don't
have a standardized trunk. So everyone goes buys a trunk, wherever the fuck they want. But the trunks also make a difference on.
Yeah. This is what I want to ask you. So
Wesley's trunks were like this big to shorten his torso.
Exactly. This is what I was gonna say. So my idea was this. I told Lucie the reason Wesley has this huge trunk
looks horrible.
He's actually trying to hide the fact that it's not going narrower. It's totally straight down. So he's trying to shorten it so that it looks like it's which is probably a good idea.
Figure girls do that a lot with their their suits because they have a lot more lean, like where they put the actual V part on their crotch
to make it look like that. But if you're going straight down, it won't look good.
No, because you look at a lot of figure girls, they're literally like this. They have no ass or hips or nothing. It's just straight. But they try to make it look like that with the suit.
Yeah. So do you think Wesley should have worn a V-shaped one, or should he have?
I think he should just quit, to be honest. Like, this is like, at this point, I'm not trying to be mean, but like he took 2 years off. He came back exactly the same. Yeah, he got a little more muscle, but he's exactly the same. And genetics and structure is everything with classic. That you're a classic person because of your structure. Breon doesn't win because Chris's structure is more superior. It's not because of muscle. They don't want the big bodybuilder look. Yeah. And that's where Breon's downside is. That's why Terrence is able to move up with that less muscle. It's not a muscle contest.
Yes,
it's bodybuilding. And that's true bodybuilding because you're maxing out your potential and your weight and your height with your structure. It's not about how much muscle you can put on. It's about your structure.
But let me point out one thing that you're not saying, which is that if Wesley, because Wesley's obviously like, but it's not insulting Wesley. I don't know him at all. We're just analyzing. So we have to keep prefacing everything we say.
It's so crazy. I know. Anyways, I just go.
If Wesley could, he would gain muscle and go into the open because
100%.
But he can't gain muscle he can't. That's his max.
Yeah.
That's what he has.
That's him.
I bet you he'll never be more than 20 pounds bigger than that in his whole life.
No.
Never. It's not possible.
People don't realize though, like that's still amazing.
It is amazing.
So like, he should just focus on other things instead of competing.
I could never be like that, by the way. If I took I never trained for hypertrophy, but I don't have triceps, so it's not possible. So
this is my problem, which people don't see as a problem. I'm either big or I'm lean. Like there's no in between for me. I can't be the Wesley Vissers. Either I'm like a 300-pound mass monster if I go back on, or I'm just like this regular lean but not big. I'm in between. I don't have the Chris pumps. Like you can't just do that. You're like, oh, I want to look like that. You just don't do that. Your genetics and your everything else, your hormones are the ones that decide that. So I'm either just a big guy or I'm just like this guy. You know what I mean? There's
somebody said that he would dwarf you. You are way bigger than this guy.
I don't think people realize.
People are a little bit stupid. I think they forget really quickly.
Unfortunately, the bodybuilding core is very smart. Like people that really compete or in the scene are very smart. They know where they stand. They really do. But the people that watch these videos most of the time, not insulting you guys, the audience, but they don't have the knowledge or experience or been in the shuffle with these people to realize like, oh wow, that's why I was talking about Good Vito. I did a video for our channel and I don't think people realize how big he is. Like they're like, he's on another level. So like I talked about that in the video and I explained that like you have to see these people in person to really appreciate them. Yeah. And like get on stage and be like, stand next to them and pose, be like, oh fuck, like this is not going to turn out well, you know?
Well, I mean, you would actually, in my opinion, you would dwarf Wesley before. I could put muscle. I'm 240 now, not eating and fasting off everything for years. But anyway, this is not a competition.
No, but like that's
say that he has a total right to talk about this. Some people can grow to that stage. Some people can't. Dude, there are guys that take as much steroids as they can. They eat 10,000 calories. They get fat, or their arms. Like my arms would never go past 18.5 inches, no matter what. I would have strongest arms you can ever see.
Right.
Okay, I could go on a preacher curl, take 120-pound dumbbell.
See, I could never do that. I would snap my arm.
No, I was very strong. My triceps were insane. everything, and my arm would not go past 18.5 unless I never did side injection. It would never go to 20. It was just never going to happen.
Right.
There are people like me, you know.
Yeah. And I was focused on 25-pound dumbbells, and that was it. You know?
Yeah, and you'd be
23 and a half. Yeah, 23 and a half arms. Yeah, cold.
Which is why our last two guests were telling you how gifted you are. They'll hear the audience will hear these people say.
That's why I laugh. I'm like, I know where I stand. Like with this, I'm confident in that. Trust me. Like I know where I stand. I can turn it on if I want.
Yeah, you know why the audience forgets is because they change every 2 years.
Yeah, it's a revolving door of people.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So
all right.
The end of the story is basically that, hey guys, we got threatened to be sued.
You know what I wanted to say real quick. I don't want to interrupt you, but people that make negative comments toward podcasts, they really don't understand podcast segment. I really don't think they like when people report the news, like they're not out to get anybody either. Like they're just reporting the news. That's their job. We talk about subjects. We talk about individuals in the sport or whatever category we're talking about. It's not negative. That's why you're listening to a podcast. You want to hear stuff. Yeah. You want to learn. You know?
By the way, when we analyze, for example, look at the difference when you analyze Shanique and me in the podcast, we were trying to figure out like what's in her mind. Did it because of this thing? Did she retire because of this? It was totally logical speculation and thinking, and your analysis from your experience being a gifted guy in your youth, not enjoying it, and so on. Relating honestly in private equity as well. Yeah. Exactly. Whereas, for example, when Nick Strength and Power talked about Coach Tal, it was destructive. It was this: who's this guy who's making fun of Phil?
Exactly.
Out there and just destroyed this guy's life.
Yep.
Completely. So that's and he has a way bigger following than us. By the way, if we had 1 million followers, we would be a little bit more careful, to be honest with you, because
absolutely,
it really affect people. But
that video comes out today, by the way.
Oh right? Yeah, great.
You're gonna upload that one?
Yeah, I will. So, but the point is, we were just doing our best. We don't mean her any harm. If she hears this, we wish the best for you. By the way, genuinely.
Yeah,
and
it's
not block me. I would appreciate it. I would send you nice messages.
I actually had her on the list to come on.
I know. We don't do any harm at all. Don't mean harm to anyone. Okay. Anyway, let's stop. All right, guys. We'll see you guys soon.